Today we're talking with Master Ken Ota, one of the world's leading Aikido practitioners. Mr. Ota, when did you first get involved in the martial arts?
Well, when I was a teenager, I studied judo under Yoshida Sensei, who was the highest ranking judo man in the United States. And then after that, with a man named Tabuchi Sensei, and that's mostly the beginning of my judo.
You studied judo for how many years?
Well, I've been involved with judo some 40 some odd years.
Wow. And when did you get involved in Aikido?
Oh, about 22 years ago. And the reason I liked it, because when I saw the Black Belt magazine, I saw everybody smiling, even the one that was being thrown and the one that was throwing. So I thought either these people were crazy or there must be something to this. So from that, I understood that meant love and harmony. And so when I saw that attracted me to it, because I love people. And I think the world needs to love each other more than anything else now.
That's very enlightening. I'm sure a lot of people don't really understand the meaning of Aikido, but that's the I in Aikido
means
love and harmony.
Love and harmony.
Sensei, what is the martial art of Aikido and when did it begin?
Well, the founder, Morihei Ueshiba Sensei, said it started when he was born. Actually, the idea started to culminate after being involved in many, many arts. But actually, when he started teaching, I would say probably in the mid-20s or something like that.
Master Ota, what other martial arts is Aikido derivative of?
Okay, Sensei, Ueshiba Sensei was a master in many, many things. So Aikido has its background in some jujitsu, aikijitsu, some judo, some swords, some staff arts, so many, many things. But all of it seemed to lack one thing, and that was love and harmony and the feeling that human life was worth something, and that's why he developed Aikido.
What is the philosophy behind Aikido?
Well, Aikido is, well, one, positive non-fighting, in that there is no victor or a loser. If you win, that means that somebody had to lose, and therefore you didn't love anybody either. But in the end, you will lead him if he wants to be destructive to his own destruction, with your help, of course, but you will teach him the right way. And so when people see your reaction of loving, then they will start changing their mind also.
So Aikido, you could say, is very defensive.
Well, we don't even say that. We say that we are always in harmony with that person. But we do utilize his energy and his force, the force that he uses against us. We will utilize that and turn it back to him.
I see. And what is the meaning of ki, which we hear so much about in the study of Aikido? What is ki? Can you please explain that?
That's rather a hard thing to explain, because O-sensei talked about it, but nobody could really understand what he meant. And he would talk about the purple smoke and things like that. Now, you had to use your imagination, I guess, but the man that I followed is Tohei Sensei, and he was able to capture what the old gentleman did and break it down so that we could develop ki. And he called it actually the coordination of mind and body together. Many people will say to themselves, I want to do it, but physically they just won't do it, or vice versa. And so the key is to make everything coordinate together, mind, body, and spirit. And that's key. Also, when you have key, you're more relaxed. So people who in this stressful world, if they have key training, will be very, very calm. And in fact, very, very happy. And I think this is what everybody should strive for, to be happy and loving, because we really need more loving when you see all the wars that go on because people want to be better than someone else. And I think that we don't need that. We need to love everyone, and then we will have a happy world. So I think Aikido training and key training is what I didn't really want to get involved in it, but more and more people would send me people. Doctors would send me children, and teachers would send me children. But that's how I got involved with Aikido.
Would they send you these children because they were aggressive and they needed some discipline? Or?
Well, a little bit of that, but sometimes a lot of learning problems, a bad self-image, things like that. And so the training of Aikido will give them better image of themselves, positive attitude, to always do the best they can, never give up. Don't be afraid to make a mistake, because if you don't make any mistakes in life, you don't accomplish anything. So that's basically what Aikido training should be about. And also to work with young people so that we will have a stronger world without war.
How does one develop ki, and where is it located in the body?
Well, we say that the ki starts at one point, and that one point is about 2 inches below your navel. That's where everything comes from. And if someone has it, then he is very, very stable. And when you hear people who say they choke up, well, that meant that they lost their ki. Their ki came from this one point up through their throats, and therefore they lost strength also.
So ki is inner strength, energy?
Well, yes, I would say part of that. Energy, flow of energy that will just go out into the universe.
How long does it take to apply ki in daily life?
Once you become aware of it, I think you can start doing some of it. But the only thing that you have to worry about is ego. When ego starts getting in your way and you don't keep concentrating on ki, then it may take a while. But you can start almost from the very beginning if you will pay attention and listen and try.
Can only Aikido practitioners develop ki or have ki?
No, everybody has ki, but people who are good in their fields have developed it like someone in Aikido will. Now, for instance, Hank Aaron, if you notice when he hit a baseball, it would ping, and he was totally relaxed, and that he had ki. Pavarotti, when he sings, when he hits his notes, it has ki because it just rings. And artists, many people, many fields have it. And, but for the average person, you usually have to develop it and be aware of it. Because somehow we are our own worst enemy.
What do you mean?
Well, all our lives, most people have said to you, well, what makes you think you can do this? You can't do that. They are negative with you. So ki is very, very positive. And ki also has healing power.
Can you explain that, please?
Well, if you have a lot of ki, just by touching, you can transfer this ki and energy into someone that, say, is sick. And then also, by your doing that, if they took a photograph of it with a Korean photography, you will see that light will go into that sick person, and the one that gives it will lose some of his light. And that means that they are starting to heal.
Master, you now have 6 instructional videos on the art of Aikido. What will people learn from watching these tapes?
Well, first of all, they will have good fundamental techniques, and when you master these things, then you have the basis to go to become a black belt. My teaching methods, I require that you become good and outstanding with these, because no matter what you are or whatever you do, you must have a sound, basic understanding of what you're doing. And these things must be perfect. Then after that, other things that you add on to it is very, very easy. I'm very proud of these tapes, and I would like to thank the Panthers Productions for asking us to do these films, because Aikido needs to be shown in its true light, because it has so much to add to this world and to peace and love and harmony. I would like to thank my students who have recommended me for many, many things in this film, and then also to my wife, Mie, who, without her support and her helping us with this wonderful facilities, and also my son, who has helped for many, many years. And then also, I think, as you will see our facilities, that it takes an effort of not only my wife, but many, many other students. And it shows love and harmony all the way through. And without this kind of love and harmony, we could not accomplish this. And this whole world needs love and harmony. And this is Aikido. When I first studied Aikido and Toyo Sensei was leaving for Japan again, he said, when I come back, if you say to me that you can beat 10 guys at one time, he'll say, that's not good. He said, but if you will tell me that your family loves you and that everybody you come in contact with loves you, then, he says, that's good. That's Aikido.
Master Oda, it's been an honor having you here today, and we thank you very much.
Thank you.
Let us begin our Aikido training with the proper uniform. In Aikido, the students wear a heavy judo gi. The strong canvas of a judo gi is a must because of the constant flipping and throwing techniques of Aikido. A lightweight uniform would never withstand the constant wear. In Aikido, students wear belts signifying their rank. Over the judo pants and covering the belt, they wear a hakama, which is a pleated skirt. The hakama adds much beauty to the flowing techniques of Aikido. It's also worn by many other martial artists, such as kendo stylists. With the judo uniform on, you step into the skirt. Now, the raised back of the skirt will support the lower back. First tie the front, crossing the back. Wearing the hakama also helps Aikido practitioners feel their center or their point of ki, because it does add weight to the midsection. Now, as a student, you should be following along and tying the hakama exactly like Sensei Steve Ota is doing. Once the front is secured, raise the back. Fit it snugly around the spinal erectors or lower back. Loop it through your belt or obi. All good students must dress properly. Never rush to get into your uniform. Always take the time to present yourself with respect. Finish by tying in the front. Make sure you roll up your pant legs so they do not hang below the skirt. Pull down the top of the uniform, and you are ready for training. Now, when undressing, again, take the time to do it properly and professionally. The back will drop down first, and then undo the front. Aikido is an art of patience, and if you do not have the patience to go through the formal etiquette, Aikido is not for you. Now, the proper way to fold the hakama is to connect it at the top and line up the pleats. Again, this aspect of the art teaches patience. Flip the uniform. The backside on the bottom. Again, lining up the pleats. This helps preserve your uniform for your next training session. Again, you do not want to enter the dojo training floor in a very wrinkled and unkempt uniform. If you do that, you show great disrespect to your school, and it doesn't say much for you. So your training starts with your appearance. Once it is pleated, fold the side nearest you, then the outside. Fold it in thirds. Now complete the folding by folding in the ties. Of course, after many times and many training sessions, you will be able to do this in just a couple minutes. The hakama is a special uniform that can be purchased from any leading martial arts suppliers, which can be found in the leading karate, Aikido magazines. Whenever training with an opponent or showing respect to your teacher, you do it by bowing. It's an Oriental custom that must be done properly. Tilt the head and shoulders forward. Feet together. That is the proper standing bow. Now the formal seated bow is the step down with the left foot first, then the right, knees slightly apart, placing your hands on the floor and tilting forward. These are signs of respect. These are not religious gestures, they are respectful gestures, like taking your hat off when you enter a room. When you bow, what you're saying is, I come to train, I don't come to hurt anyone, I come to learn the art of Aikido. Like all sports, Aikido is a martial art that requires proper exercises to condition the body for its techniques. An Aikido class will begin with light stretches. Again, you should be following along. The first technique is to put the legs out straight, lock the knees, pull the toes back as far as you can with your fingertips, and hold the position. You notice there's no jerky, bouncing movements. Lean forward, pull back on the toes, keep the back straight, knees locked, and relax. Feel the muscles opening up. Feel them stretching. Now, put your legs apart, knees locked, same technique, but this time we go to one leg at a time. Notice the form of Sensei Ota. Very strict form, no sloppy, jerky movements. Always be in full control of the simplest technique. Proper form is how you will benefit from the exercise. Again, feel the muscles opening up. Take your time and hold the stretch position. Now work forward, putting your hands out and leaning your body weight down. Make your upper body heavy. Make it go forward, leaning on the muscles, opening up the stretch. Never begin a training session without proper warm-ups and stretching. This is the only way you avoid injuries, pulled muscles, sprains. The next technique is to pull the soles of the feet in together, holding the toes, bouncing the knees, loosening up, and then grab the ankles and push down with your elbows, pushing your knees to the floor. Now, if you are very tight in the legs and you can't touch the floor, don't worry about it. It takes time. Practice these daily, and your flexibility will greatly improve. In Aikido, you're very mobile. You're moving all the time with your legs. It's very important that they're flexible for speed. If you're very tight in the legs, you'll be slower in movement. Again, following along. Bring your head to your toes. Now come up on your knees. Sit back on the insteps of your feet and roll the head down to the ground. Work your shoulders and arms side to side. This will stretch your thigh muscles and the instep of the foot. And work your way up. Now, neck stretches and rotations. Work your head to the side. Right side, then left side. Relax and stretch. Now forward, stretching the back of the neck. A flexible body will develop reflexes much quicker than being stiff and cold. Now completely rotate the head. Notice how he's totally relaxed. If you're tense, the muscles will not stretch properly. In Aikido, a tremendous amount of stress is put on the wrist and hands because of the arm locking and flipping and holding techniques. So they must be flexible or you'll be injured in this area. Begin by pushing and twisting the top of the hand inward. Do this every day, at least 5 times on each side. Flexibility in the wrist is a must for Aikido practitioners. You might experience a little pain in the beginning, but it will subside through constant stretching of the wrist. Again, keeping the body very relaxed. Now, push your top of the hand downward, bringing your fingertips to underneath the forearm. Relax and stretch. Another technique is to push the palm out and twist. Twist your palm towards the sky. Before you can even begin to learn a technique, you must know how to fall properly. In Aikido, this is the most important aspect for a beginner, is to eliminate that fear of falling and hitting the mat through proper training. The first technique is a very simple back roll. Sit with the right leg out, left leg underneath. Very relaxed, rolling back. Notice how he keeps his head up. Do not slam the head to the ground. Your head should not hit the floor. Let your body weight roll you back. Don't force it. The whole body moves together. One continuous motion. This is the simplest roll we're beginning with. We'll build upon this. Watch again. Rolling and up. Always coming to an up position. A simple back roll. Now we're going up in height. With the right knee up, left leg on its side, sit straight up. Again, rolling back. Same exact technique from a higher position. Eventually working to a standing position. Now, if someone were to push you back on the ground or knock you down, this would break your fall. Look at it from the front. You should be following along with the proper technique. If you must, play the tape back over and over until you have these simple rolls down. And you must follow Master Oda's tapes in order. You should not be jumping to more advanced tapes unless you know the basic techniques of tapes 1 and 2. Now from a standing position. Again, the same exact tucking the leg, rolling back, keeping the head off the ground. If someone came up and pushed you abruptly, this is how you would go down to the ground without injury. Again, from the front view. Very smooth. Notice how it's one continuous motion in slow motion. Going down, breaking his fall. The buttocks rolling back onto the shoulders and coming back up into the starting position. This shows great control. Again, we must walk before we can run. You must break that fear of falling in Aikido. Now, rolling forward in a somersault. Start with the right knee up, left leg down, hands flat on the ground, leaning over your fingertips. Point your fingertips inward. Now push off with your legs and roll. You roll on one shoulder, keeping the head tucked in. Your head does not hit the ground. Watch carefully. Rolling over the lead arm, whichever arm is the lead, that's the shoulder you'll roll over. Watch the continuous flow. Aikido is harmony and flow. Now, most people do not know how to fall properly, and if thrown, they would simply be slammed to the concrete and severely injured. Always come back up to the start position, show control. If you land flat on your back, your attacker can come and kick you, step on you. In Aikido, you're taught to control, come up, be ready to defend yourself, or run if you have to. Do not stay on the ground. Look at the back view. Notice the smoothness of movement. He is not slamming the mat. His head is protected. He tucks that shoulder down and around. Looks just like a ball rolling. He's in full control of his senses, and he's coordinated in every movement. Notice how the feet tuck in. Now, if thrown, this is how it's applied. The student rolls with the technique. This is Aikido, harmony, working together. He doesn't try and resist. If he resists the fall, his arm could very easily be dislocated. He'll be severely injured. Watch it in slow motion. Sensei Oda flips the student and he rolls with it. He gets the feel of being thrown without injury. He comes straight up and alert, watching his opponent. Do not attempt to practice Aikido with someone unless they are very skilled in throwing and rolling and break falls. From the standing position, his head does not hit the ground. Your head is the most important area to protect. The slightest hit to the head can cause very severe damage. Your head is like a computer. You would never hit a computer hard with a hammer. Think of it that way. Again, from the kneeling position, we're going up one level now. We bring the back leg up and roll. Basically the same technique. We're simply doing it from a higher position. We push off, roll, look at the head, tucked, not hitting the mat, and up. Again, rolling on the lead arm. This is very important. You're not hitting both shoulders at the same time. The leg follows. Everything flows. The flow of Aikido, the secret of Aikido. Constant movement with the universe. Coordination of mind and body. Of course, as a beginner, always work your rolling techniques and break falls on a very soft surface. Do not attempt to do this on the dirt or cement. And from this constant rolling, you build confidence and you condition your body. You make it as hard as a rock. It's a way to toughen the skin. Again, application, rolling, flowing, working together. He virtually floats over the ground. When you're skilled, you don't even feel the fall. Now watch how he grabs his arm. He could dislocate it if he didn't go with the throw. He grabs, flips, and safely rolls away. Now, from a standing position, again, we're working our way up to the top. You build your confidence through the short rolls from the ground. Now work it. Bring your hand to the ground and roll with the lead arm, rolling on the shoulder, protecting the head. Everything is exactly the same. We're just doing it from a higher stance. So if your assailant were to throw you, you would know how to go with the flow and not slam on the ground and cause injury. Now follow along. Roll, do not slam, keep going. Come directly up, looking at your opponent, very alert. This is also very intimidating to your opponent. If he's throwing you and you're constantly getting up without injury, he's going to lose confidence and get very frustrated. Now we're going to add the slap to the roll. 2 warm-up rolls on the third, rolling back and slapping the palm to the ground to break the fall. This is another technique to break your fall if thrown. If you cannot roll properly, you may slap to break the fall. This is used very often in judo training. 2 warm-ups, rolling, now add the slap. You must coordinate it with the roll. As you're hitting the ground, slap with the palm to break the fall. This is a very important technique if you're in close and you're against the wall and you cannot roll completely. The slap will help save you. Now, from the knee up position, notice the right foot is tucked underneath. Roll and slap, follow along. Roll, coordinate, just as you're hitting, slap with the right hand. This also works with the left. It's the same technique on the other side. Kneel up, back straight, roll, and slap. Again. Back straight, roll back. Always keep the head off the ground. Now, stepping out and slapping from a standing position. Coordinate the technique properly, or you'll be injured. You do not want to hit your shoulder, then slap, or slap too early. As you're coming to the ground. Now, more advanced. From a high flip position, jumping up, all the body weight coming down and slapping to break the fall. You can never do this technique unless you slap properly, or you'll be injured. This is a very advanced fall, and you should not attempt it until you've mastered the rolling and basic slapping techniques. Again, from a standing position, bringing your feet out and dropping back and slapping, keeping the head up, protected. Now, jumping out, feet off the ground, both, and slap. Now, from a seated position, double slapping technique. Roll twice, warm up, then slap. Both hands at the same time. This is a technique you would use if someone were to push you in the chest directly back and you didn't have time to react. This time we keep our feet out, rolling. Everything's coordinated, a very smooth movement, head off the ground. Never, ever hit your head to the ground. Remember that. Add the slap, double slap. Watch the coordination. As your body hits the ground, the hands slap with the palms to break the fall. And when you slap, keep your elbows slightly bent. Do not slap with your elbows locked out. You'll jar your elbow and possibly break them. Same double slap from a higher kneeling position. Notice how we build up. This is to build your confidence. Start low and then work high. Coordinate the slap with the fall. Look at it from the side. You should be following along. Now double slap coming down from a standing position. Drop, roll, slap. Both hands exactly at the same time. Think of your hands slapping as if they were a parachute. They're there to break your fall. Roll, slap. You notice how he rolls. He doesn't come straight down on his tailbone or buttocks. That would cause severe injury. Now a little more advanced, kicking the feet out and breaking the fall of the entire body at once. Not using any roll. There are many break falls because you do not know the situation you'll be in if attacked. Maybe you'll be able to roll, maybe not. You'll have to slap and break the fall. Always be prepared. Be an expert in all aspects. Do not attempt any Aikido techniques unless you've mastered the break falls. Play this tape every day. Study it carefully. Very advanced technique. Complete flip in the air and break the fall as your body weight comes down. Flip, break. Flip, break. Very advanced. Watch again. Pushes off, complete turn in the air, and break fall. Again, only one side of the body hits, only one shoulder, never both. An excellent display of proper breakfall technique. Now, watch how these breakfalls apply to a defensive Aikido maneuver. Master Ken Ota demonstrating against his student. The student uses a very basic slap to break his fall against this technique. Now, Master Ota brings him higher, so he must adapt quickly again. An advanced break fall, complete flip in the air. Watch again. Can you imagine if he didn't go with the technique? His wrist would be completely dislocated. Now Master Ota directs him into a high advanced flip where he breaks the fall. As the body hits, he slaps with the left arm. This is simply a demonstration to show how to save yourself from such a throw. Most people would slam on their back and head, causing severe injury, but the Aikido stylist is prepared. He can withstand the fall. Coordination of mind and body, not having any fear, going with the flow. He's flipped, slap, breaks the fall. We now get to the essence of Aikido training, the development of center or ki. This is the heart of Aikido. Developing your inner power or ki energy. Notice how Master Ota has a hard time keeping his arm up when he makes a fist, because by making a fist, his flow of ki is destroyed. It's cut off. It's short-circuited. But now the student cannot bend his arm because his hand is open. He continues the flow of his power into the universe, out through the fingertips. And his arm being relaxed, his student cannot move it, as opposed to being tense. Notice how he can be lifted easily off the ground when not concentrating on his ki, which is a center in the body they say is located 2 inches below the navel. But when he concentrates his ki down, his student cannot lift him at all. He's like a brick, a ton of bricks. Master Ota trying to lift his son Steve, who is concentrating on his ki, his inner power, his life force, located in the lower abdomen. Again, 2 inches below the navel. This is what you strive to develop. Unification of mind and body. Calling on this inner energy, this mental power to strengthen your already physical presence. He's concentrating his ki energy down into the ground in his stance, and he cannot be moved. This is what you must constantly think about in Aikido, is center. Your center is the power of everything. All energy flows from the center. Concentration. You can concentrate your ki down or upward. Another demonstration, as the student lies there without concentrating on inner strength, his ki, inner power, he has no strength. He just sloops between the assistants. But when the student calls upon his ki, his inner power, which everyone has if you know how to call upon it and develop it, like Aikido practitioners. Now he's imagining his ki flowing through his body, his life force, into the universe, believing that a steel rod is going through his entire body. He becomes rigid and powerful. As Master Oda sits on the student, he doesn't even bend. He's not injured. He has tremendous strength. Amazing. This is the power of ki. This is the power of the inner life force. You must have ki to have strong balance and center. Center is a word you're going to hear over and over in Aikido. Center controls all things around you, all body function. It controls your attackers, your opponents. You have power over them when you have ki. Ki is developed through proper breathing technique. This makes you aware of ki. Master Oda will demonstrate the breathing technique of Aikido, and you should follow along. Sitting in a formal kneeling position, he exhales all air from the body, except for 10%. He holds for 5 seconds. After exhaling, now he inhales through the nose. Now think about this. Up to the top of the head, down the spine, down the back, rolling into the lower abdomen. This is the breathing technique. Filling the abdomen, holding for 5 seconds, and then exhaling out the front. And there's a slight leaning forward to help expel the air. The air is expelled out of the mouth. He holds for 5 seconds, then he repeats. Now you must hold at the beginning and end for 5 seconds. Hold on before the inhale and after the exhale, so you don't hyperventilate or get dizzy. The lower stomach is filled. Now relax and exhaling. Use your hands. Imagine you're pushing all the air out of your stomach. This breathing helps revitalize you, give you energy, bringing fresh air into the system. Down to the lower abdomen. It's filled with air. He holds for 5 seconds before he exhales, relaxing, breathing out, using his hands to imagine pushing the air out slowly, and then repeating the process. They say 1 hour of this type of breathing is equal to 1 hour of sleep. The energy 1 hour of sleep would give you, this breathing would give you. Exhaling. This adds strength to the body, energy to the body, makes you aware of your center point, 2 inches below the abdomen. This is very relaxing. It helps even cure muscle soreness. You cannot breathe this way effectively and benefit from it if you are very tense. If you're under a lot of stress, this will help get rid of the stress. But you must let yourself go. Let the muscles go totally relaxed. Concentrate on the breathing. Now, expelling the air, pushing with the hands, leaning forward to help rid the air from the body. Hold for 5 seconds, and then repeat the process. In through the nose, the air should feel it's flowing to the top of the head, down your back, down your spine, curling into the stomach. Very, very important technique in Aikido. You are now ready for Master Oda's Aikido tape number 2. Basic techniques and preparatory exercises. Again, do not be in a hurry to go to tape 2 unless you've mastered all the techniques on this tape. Work on your rolling techniques, your warm-ups, your break falls, and work on developing your ki, your center. Concentrate on your inner strength coming from the lower abdomen. Of course, this takes years of training, but you must start now.